Hi, this is Andrea with Design Morsels, and I wanted to talk to you about how I'm converting this king linen sheet to a lined drapery just by sewing 2 seams. And I wanted to explain a little bit about how you do that. So this is a king sheet. This is the top of the sheet. This is the bottom of the sheet, which is what I'm going to use as the top of my sheet because I like the way the bottom has a little bit of weight to it, like a hem would on a sheet or on a curtain. So I want this to be the bottom of my curtain. So with this being the top of my curtain, what I'm going to do is just sew a rod pocket. I'm going to leave the curtain 2 layers. So basically a liner, even though it's the same fabric, and I'm going to sew a rod pocket so that I have a little header. So basically I'm going to take this sheet and put 2 seams in it, and then I'm going to have a lined curtain. But the thing I wanted to talk to you about before you start measuring and sewing or any part of that is that you need to decide which end you're going to start with. And here's the important thing, because linen, which I'm making it with linen, has a lot of give to it, the fabric, you'll find that as you get to the end of your seam, it doesn't line up perfectly, which no one's going to be able to see as it's hanging on the wall except you when you're hanging it there. But in order to prevent that from happening, I want to start my seam on the side that's closed. I want to start my seam here. So here's the important part, and I know this because I did it wrong once. When I'm making my measurement, which for my window, I want to sew a seam at 5 inches and a seam 1 5/8 up from that to make my rod pocket. And my post explains all the math behind how you would calculate that. But I don't want to draw my line on this side of the fabric because then when I'm feeding it through my sewing machine, I've got all this fabric. So I want to make sure I put the guide on the right side of the fabric so that if I put it on this side, my guide to where I sew the seam, which for me is going to be a line and pencil, I have all the excess fabric on the left side, which will make it much easier to feed through my sewing machine. And the reason I'm taking the time to show you this is because I did it on the wrong side with the first drape, and then I was like, wait a minute, I can't even sew this. And then I realized, oh, I just have to draw it on the other side. So you want to make sure you have all the excess fabric on the left side when you're making your seam guide. So check out the post for exactly how I make them.